Burgers and fries at every street corner, skyscrapers all around you, and being a cheerleader during high school. That's how we picture life in the USA. But is it really like that? Hello and welcome to today's talk about life in the USA. My name is Etta Zechmann and I'm currently doing my internship at the Praxismittelschule der Pädagogischen Hochschule. Today, two students, Melissa and Alona, are going to interview Miss Hammett and me about life in the USA. Welcome, Miss Hammett, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, we have some questions for you. And the first question is, where exactly are you from and why did you come to Austria? And were there any differences about Austria or anything?
Yes, okay, so I am from a small town in the Midwest of the United States called Norman. It's a college town with a big university, and most people that live there are young students and older retired parents and grandparents. I came to Austria because I met my boyfriend at school, in college, and he was part of the study abroad program with the University of Graz. And I decided after a year that I would come to Austria and find out what it's like and see if I liked it here. And there are a ton of differences. It's completely different. For example, you guys have public transportation here, which is amazing. You can get on buses, you have trams. In my town, there's only one bus for the whole city that takes you around, and I've never been on it my entire life. I always am in a car. Our streets are really big compared to the streets here, which are tiny. Everything's really small.
Yes, so that's also the impression I got when I was in the USA. Everything is much bigger than it is here in Europe. Do you guys take the bus?
Yes, I do. What about you, Melissa?
So usually my mother takes me with the car.
Okay, because Emma told us earlier that you had a really weird...
I had a weird experience. When I first came here, I got through the airport, which I realized everything was in German. I didn't speak a word of German except for hello, which everyone knows usually. And when I got out of the airport, I took a train and I came to Graz, and at the Hauptbahnhof, or the train station here, I saw a little girl getting on a tram by herself, and I was scared. I thought, where are her parents? You know, that can't be okay. And then I saw more kids getting on, and it was so shocking to me that you guys have so much responsibility here at such a young age. And in America, we depend on our parents until we're 12 and 13. Then we can kind of explore by ourselves. So that was really weird.
Okay, but I have a question for you, Mrs. Zechmann. Last time you told us that you spent a semester in the USA. So what is the biggest difference between American and Austrian food?
Yes, exactly. So I spent one semester abroad at the University of Vermont in Burlington, Vermont. That's in the northeast of the USA. And you have to imagine that university life is very different to here. And the campus is basically a city of its own with a lot of dining halls across campus. And I mostly ate in those dining halls. And the biggest difference for me really was the breakfast. So here in Austria, we normally have rolls and slices of bread with butter and jam and ham and cheese, maybe also some yogurt and granola. But in America, they don't have rolls or slices of bread. They usually serve toast. And also, they eat a warm breakfast, like eggs and bacon, pancakes, and porridge. What do you guys eat for breakfast normally?
Well, I really don't eat breakfast in the morning. I just go to school, and then we eat lunch with friends outside. Yeah, what did you eat, Frau Mrs.
For
Hammett.
breakfast?
Yeah.
So traditionally we will either cook breakfast at home, which most people do. And the point is really to eat as much food as you possibly can in the mornings because you might not have time to eat lunch or eat dinner might be really late. And my personal favorite is I have a photo of pancakes for you guys, like these massive pancakes that we eat. They usually give you 3. They're the size of your head. And we put butter all over them. They're really warm. And you can always get waffles if you don't like pancakes, which I personally like both. They taste the same to me. And we always have some kind of meat and a protein like eggs. Something that I noticed here is you guys eat a lot of fresh fruit for breakfast or for snacks throughout the day, which is super healthy. And we definitely do not tend to eat that healthy for breakfast. But we do always get coffee in the morning. It's like a tradition. Every family that I know has coffee. And my family, fortunately, lives right behind a Starbucks. So they go there 10 times a day and spend so much money at Starbucks because the coffee is just, it's really good for people who've never been to Europe and had European coffee. You guys have a lot of coffee here. Austria has a huge cafe culture and like bakeries. In the U.S., in my town, there's not one single bakery. No bakery, there's no cafes you can go sit at and enjoy like all day. Like here, you just grab your coffee and you go, you don't get to really relax, especially in the morning. So I really like that here you guys kind of are much less stressed and can enjoy sitting down and eating, and it's nice.
Well, about school. Where exactly did you went to school?
I went to, so we, unlike you guys, you have a primary school, I think, and then high school.
Yes, we have
Is that
elementary
true?
school and then high school.
Okay, so we go to 3 different schools. We go to an elementary school for 5 years, and then for 3 years we go to a middle school. It's also called junior high. And then after 8th grade of junior high, you go to high school. This is a photo of my high school cafeteria, actually. That's really modern now, but when I went there, it was pretty old, like hasn't been updated for a long time. But the nicest thing about going to school is that it's not just for learning. You also get to find out what you're good at, and if you're like sports and what kind of hobbies you're into, which I know you guys are interested in a couple of those hobbies that they offer. Do you want to talk about that?
I like inline skating a lot and skateboarding.
I love inline skating. That's so funny that you say that because it's really popular. Even in my town, we have a huge skating rink. And when I was younger, I went every Friday and would fall often, but it was really fun. Do you guys have that here? Is that a big thing here?
I think we have it.
Is there another thing that you really want to know about school life in America?
About the cheerleader teams.
Yes.
Like, did you went to this cheerleader thing?
I started cheerleading when I was in 6th grade. I was 12. My school was called the Alcott Wildcats, and so we had like this small uniform. Okay, yeah. So this is an example of classic traditional uniform that cheerleaders wear. Always in the front of the picture is the captain. Sometimes the captain would be a little not as nice as she should have been to the other girls because sometimes they have this feeling that they're the main one, like the star of the show. However, my captain was really sweet. We had been friends since elementary school, since I was really young, so I was lucky enough to be on her squad, as what they call it. And cheerleaders are really the ones who keep everybody motivated about sports at school. When there's a game day, they'll wear their uniform to school. And in the morning, they'll have pep rallies and like have their pom-poms and run down the hallways. And we have like huge gymnastics shows where they can show off all they've practiced. And we practiced every single day that we had school for an hour after school, which is also nice because it's a way to unwind after studying and learning all day. And another thing that's really different is that we go to a different classroom for every single subject. And I know, is it true that you guys stay in the same classroom all day?
Sometimes.
Okay. With the same teacher? Or do you have different teachers?
Yes, sometimes we have different teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Like today we had on Monday, like in the first hour, we had Herr Krickenjak.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second hour we had another teacher again, Frau Beidinger. And then again we had Herr Lindner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's our music teacher. And now we're here in the radio.
I didn't know you had a music class. Do you enjoy those kind of extracurricular stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Did you have a music or choir?
Oh, yes, we did, but that was a long time ago.
Long forgotten.
So what else do you want to know about America?
So in a lot of movies, there's this thing called prom, and I wanted to know if you ever went to prom and if you had a date.
Okay, so luckily I did get asked to prom. The second year I actually asked my boyfriend. We both went together both times, 2 times. So like you've seen in the movies, it's pretty much exactly like that. It's a huge thing. It's a huge party. You prepare all year. You find your dress. We have this week before prom called homecoming week where we have a huge football game, and the cheerleaders go on a float. Like we have a parade before prom. So the whole school, like the sports teams and the cheerleaders, get on these massive floats, we call them, these big structures, and they go down the street, the main street of the town, and they get everybody, excited for prom. So even before the night of, everybody's super excited. And we all go to, I remember I went with my friends all the same day, and we went dress shopping. When we went dress shopping, every girl at the high school basically was also dress shopping. So there were no good dresses left, which is you have to hunt down like the perfect dress, because you want to look the best. But it's really exciting because when you go to prom, at the wherever they set it up, it's in a different place every year. It's not at the school. It's somewhere in a big facility, and usually the cheerleading captain becomes prom queen. We have a prom king. We have a huge celebration. You get to vote. People vote for themselves because they want to be prom queen. I didn't vote for myself, and I should have, because I would have liked to win. To have won, that would have been nice. Do you guys have a prom here when you're in high school?
No, but I wish we had one, because it's like, I love it how it shows up in the movies, and it's so cool.
It's a big celebration. We have these announcements. You get a crown if you win, and all these balloons drop on the dance floor, and it's about 6 hours long. You get to dance and eat and drink, and then before everybody's parents come to pick them up, we all like to sneak away and eat something unhealthy, like McDonald's was always a go-to.
That really sounds like an adventure prom night. What I would really be interested in as well is, how would you describe American city life?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. American city life. I've lived in a few cities in my lifetime. This photo here is, I'm sure do you guys know what city that is?
New York.
Yeah, good job. Okay, so that's New York City. This I took at the top of I think it was the Rockefeller Center, which is a huge
It looks
old,
like it,
I think it was. And I was so overwhelmed because I'm from a small town, no skyscrapers. And when I went to New York, I couldn't see the tops of the buildings. It was so crowded. Like, you hear honking from taxis 24/7. Like, do you know those big yellow taxis that you always see?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, in movies I
Yeah.
always see them.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. And tons of people are touring and they have their cameras out and nobody's looking at the road and everybody's honking at one another. Traffic is probably the worst. You have to walk to get anywhere. And it's really nice, though, to visit. I would say living there is really stressful because it's easy to get lost. You have to adjust to... It's a whole different feeling. Like, here in Austria, I like it because it's so relaxing. But in the big city, it's just 24/7 work, and it's only good to visit for a little bit, I think.
How is the style there in New York? Do they have different things?
Yes, fashion is unbelievable. There's not only is fashion a huge thing of New York, but also different cultures. It's a huge mix of people from all over the world, Italians, there's a Chinatown, which has the best Chinese food I've ever had. And there's a Little Italy, and there's so many different neighborhoods dedicated to these people that have come there over time. And they have all this different boutiques and stores where you can get clothes, fashionable clothes from all over the world. It's amazing. I wish I could spend more time there, but I do like it here, so...
Okay.
So that was very interesting. We learned a lot today. We learned a bit about American breakfast, also that city life is very busy and that school is quite different to here in Austria, and that the biggest adventure, of course, is prom night. Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you, Miss Hammett, for joining us today.
Thank you.